Hello everyone, my name is Noelle Estiondon and I will be discussing the review of the movie Gone Girl called The Long Goodbye, The Dark Depths of Gone Girl, written by Jim McDermott in America Magazine. So, Jim McDermott is actually a pastor at a Christian church and he writes for this Christian magazine. And while Gone Girl pushes some boundaries with its provocative narrative, it might seem a little questionable that a pastor would be reviewing this movie. However, his perspective is completely unbiased and he offers an insightful interpretation of this movie. So, McDermott does like the film. He acknowledges that it is massively successful and he says that it is a great adaptation of the book. He mentions that the themes in it are very relevant, not only to his church, but to everybody in general, in the way that people can relate to some things in this movie, and also in the way that this movie kind of sparks a conversation in the viewers. So, the first thing that Jim talks about is this idea of marriage. Talking about Nick and Amy's problems, he says that the core of their battles remain familiar. They're just a more extreme evocation of our own experiences of wound and sin. And he says this because he actually praises the movie for exploring the darker aspects of human relationships, particularly in marriage. I think because even though there are some scenes that are hard to watch, people might resonate with the familiar experiences of woundedness and, as McDermott calls it, sin. He emphasizes that it could even be freeing to watch their struggles because it shows that everybody makes terrible choices. And when it comes to relationships and marriage, we can all get a little crazy. Granted, Amy and Gone Girl is an extreme example that not everyone can resonate with, but I think McDermott makes a good point in showing that everyone struggles. So, the last half of the review, he kind of talks about this topic of Amy and how her whole character is potentially harmful to the people watching. He basically says that in the plot twist, being that Amy is not dead and that she's not kidnapped, that this movie adds into the stereotype that men have of women being manipulative and psychotic and dangerous. Because in the movie, Amy frames her ex boyfriend of rape and she essentially uses her sexuality to get her other ex boyfriend to give her shelter, and she ends up staging another rape scene. And he says how she is basically playing out the whole tropes of rape culture in today's society. And I think the reason he mentions all of this in his review is because he is concerned. And as I was doing research, it seems that this has been a whole controversial topic when this movie came out. And honestly, these concerns are very valid. I mean, this movie came out a while ago, but people are still watching it, and I think in a world with people so easily influenced, it is important to think about these kind of things. It does add into this whole idea of rape culture, and rape culture is a very large topic, but some of what it includes is that sexual violence is tolerated, or in this sense that I'm talking about, it's this idea that women will make up stories of sexual violence to gain something. There's many real life situations where female or even male rape survivors are not believed when they say that they have been drugged or raped. And I could go on, but the main point is that Amy becomes some sort of poster girl for these rape myths, that women will do anything for attention, and that they blow situations out of proportion, and that they're manipulative, and that they're just trapping innocent men. And so McDermott's concerns about this movie are not too far off, honestly. And so I really want to say that I do agree with this review. Beforehand, I didn't even really think about the whole aspect of Amy's character being damaging to women in real life, because, in my opinion, it is just a movie and it's a fictional story, and I would hope that people would be able to differentiate between what's real and what's fiction. But, like I said, people can be influenced by anything nowadays, so I think Jim McDermott really brings a compelling perspective on this movie. And I also really like this review. I just enjoyed the movie a lot as well, so that's why I chose this review. But I also really appreciated hearing another perspective and hearing concerns about the harm that a movie like this could bring to the table. And that's it. So,